Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything is going to be okay. Well, just like Sean Murray promised, the press have started to release information that they got by interviewing Sean Murray, new information that tells us a lot about what the third part of No Man's Sky Beyond update is going to be like, and we've got a lot of new information that I'm going to be going through. First of all, really big thing, which isn't part of the third part, it's part of No Man's Sky Online, but really big bit of information is we found out how big the multiplayer lobbies are going to be in the Beyond update. It's going to be 32 players. I cannot believe that. We're going from 4 player models in a lobby to 32. I am kind of scared by that. It's incredible that they were able to pull that off, and I'm kind of scared by it because I froze when playing multiplayer quite a bit, and I'm a little scared that it won't really be possible on PlayStation 4 for a 32 player lobby, but they have been working a lot on optimization. They're doing the whole Vulkan thing, but I don't know if Vulkan can be on PlayStation 4 or not, but hopefully they've optimized it to where multiplayer will work on PlayStation 4. I don't even know if they've tested 32 players yet, because in a lot of these interviews Sean Murray talks about testing it with 8 players, so not quite sure if they've really done a 32 player test. I mean, I would think that they would. If they're going to claim that it's a 32 player lobby, they should have at least, tried having 32 players in it at once and see if the game doesn't crash. But anyway, that is pretty incredible, and it's going to really give people that enjoy multiplayer a lot to do when they've got that many players able to build together and sculpt together and fight enemies together. And we'll get into a bit more of what players could do together in these new features. So something that really interested me was milking creatures. Now, I told you that in the last video that I groaned when I saw that people were able to ride creatures as mounts, but now that he said that you can milk creatures, I'm much more interested. And there's also a new food system that people had found this information in the files before, but we didn't know if they were going to add it or not. But I guess the food system with cooking and recipes is partly to feed creatures, to like herd and feed them and milk them and stuff. So it sounds like there's basically going to be creature farming. And we'll get into more of the information about the cooking in a little bit. Some other features are when you go to the Nexus is the new multiplayer hub area that's inside of a space anomaly looking thing. But when you go there, one of the articles said that your base will be in there will be a screenshot of your base like floating next to your player or something. Not sure how that's going to work. I don't know if we'll have to take the screenshots ourselves and like put it into some kind of featured screenshot slot, but probably not, because it sounds like the screenshots are actually going to be like links that players can use to go straight to someone else's base. At least that's the way it described it. It said that so you meet other players in the Nexus, and you'll be able to see a screenshot of a base that they've built next to them, and somehow you'll be able to use that to go ahead and go to their base if you want to. And there's also going to be a featured base. There'll be like a screenshot of a really popular base that like a lot of people have been visiting or something. It'll be like, it'll change regularly. There'll be a featured base that you can see on some kind of screen or display in the Nexus, and you can go to that special featured base that will be impressive, I guess, because it's real popular. And another thing is community missions are returning. That's not really a new feature, but it is good to know that we will be having community missions again. We had community missions for a while after the next update, and that's how we got the Quicksilver, to get the new helmets and base building accessories and fireworks and a bunch of crazy stuff. So, and we kind of got storyline from that and kind of some lore from those community missions, so that's going to be pretty cool. Not sure what they'll do next time when they do community missions. I mean, I should hope that they would be different and they wouldn't just repeat. I'm pretty sure there'll be different community missions. And I don't know if the old Quicksilver items will still be available, or if all the old ones are going to go away and we're going to get a whole new series of Quicksilver items, but that would be interesting to know. But we will be having community missions again, not right when Beyond launches. Just like when Next launched, we didn't have the community missions right away, and the new ones won't be up as well, but we will be getting them eventually sometime after Beyond. And then we've got a whole bunch of new base building stuff, and this is really interesting. There's going to be like logic gates, electricity grids, teleporters, and physics distortion systems. Now, the logic gate really interests me because before I wouldn't have known what that is, but since I've been playing Dreams, I know what a logic gate is. It's a device that you can use to basically, it's kind of the same as computer coding. Computer coding uses these logic gate kind of things that, like, say you cannot do this, or you can do this and this. If both of these are true, you can do this or you can do this. You can do one of these two things but not the other one, etc. Logic gates, just allow you to decide what can and cannot happen. It just allows you to program, basically. So that's really exciting, that base building is basically going to give us the ability to program things. There'll be electricity grids and logic gates that we can like power and control things in different ways. And what's really exciting about that is Hello Games even created a mini game within No Man's Sky using this. They created Rocket League, probably using the vehicles by the sound of it, but I guess they must have constructed an arena kind of like Rocket League. Rocket League, I've never played it, but I've seen some video of it. It's like you're driving on cars in kind of a soccer field. You're basically playing soccer, but driving in vehicles that are rocket powered and stuff. That's why it's called Rocket League. And so they basically built, I assume, an arena, and then they used the game's vehicles to play Rocket League. I guess they got a ball. Some people have tried using the golden balls from Ruins to play soccer. Unfortunately, the gold balls, at least previously, are not shared among players. So if you, I'm pretty sure somebody confirmed that if you can see a gold ball moving around, another person cannot. So some objects in multiplayer currently do not work right, but they must have used there must be some kind of ball, either a new type of ball you can build, or who knows. But they said they created Rocket League from base building, so who knows. But they said they had, like, Sean Murray said all this in like a phone interview. He said they created like scoreboards and stuff, for playing Rocket League. So that's pretty incredible. People have already tried making, soccer games and stuff, but now it's going to be much more possible. So yeah. But Sean Murray backtracked it a bit and said, I don't want people to think that they can create mini games. But the interviewer was like, well, you just said you did. You just said you made Rocket League. And Sean Murray was like, well, yeah. So we'll have to see just how possible it is. We don't want to get too hyped about that. There's probably not endless possibilities, but it does sound like we will be able to create some pretty cool stuff that will function as a mini game kind of thing. But I'm sure it will have limits. So next, oh, and something that we knew about, but there are now walking NPCs, but something the interviewer said that we didn't know yet is that there's going to be new language systems and depth to NPCs. Not sure what that means or what that's going to look like. Aliens in No Man's Sky have always used this very rudimentary language system where you basically don't know anything that they're saying until you learn a word. You click on a knowledge stone, you get a word, and that reveals that one word if one of the aliens says it. So you know that one word. And it's really not great. No one's ever really liked that system, and it's never been all that useful. Eventually, if you grind and get all the words, then you can see what aliens are saying. But by that point, you'll have read all of the alien conversations and already know how to respond to them. So it made learning the language pointless because you can figure it out from context without knowing what they're saying. So it was really kind of a pointless system. So the fact that there's new language and new depth, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but hopefully it will be fun and interesting. And of course, we definitely know, and now it's been confirmed, we knew it from a leak, that NPCs will be able to walk around. I'm guessing probably not on planet surfaces like some people are hoping. It's probably just in buildings and space stations. But still, it's something, and it's going to make the game seem a lot more real. And that's something that Sean said in one of the interviews, is that he and the team, what they're really striving for with No Man's Sky Beyond is to bring back the fantasy of No Man's Sky, make it more immersive, because he said in all the interviews that a problem they realized from the No Man's Sky updates was they were just stacking on new features that didn't really work well together. Like, they added base building, but they added base building into a game where you're supposed to wander and explore endlessly and not settle down and stay in one place. Base building did work out pretty well, but it's kind of a separate feature that either you're going to wander constantly, or you're going to stay in one place and build your base for a while. They don't really work together very cohesively. And then other things were just kind of tacked on. Vehicles are cool, but they're just another extra thing. They're not a total game changer, etc., etc. So what Sean wanted with this update, and what a lot of these features do, is they work together and they create a whole new gameplay loop. I've said that a lot, that No Man's Sky's gameplay loop isn't really good. I could go into at length why that is, but basically the main reason is that the main point of the game is to make money, which is stupid. It's supposed to be to explore and have an adventure and, all that stuff, but the main gameplay loop is making money. MZK did a good video about that. I don't remember what the title was, but he discussed this at length, that every single system in the game just is about making money. Exploring, you scan things, you get money. Farming, you do to make money. Combat, you get stuff to make money, etc., etc., and eventually money becomes pointless. And Sean Murray even addressed this in one of these interviews that he just did. He said, sure, you can find a way to get extremely rich, but then at that point you realize that you don't want to anymore. My way of describing is you run out of things to buy, because once you have 1 billion units, you have enough to buy everything in the game that you could want, and then you don't want anything anymore. The game becomes almost like creative mode, where buying things is pointless because you already have everything and there's no reason to get money anymore. So Sean Murray is saying that, oh, and another really big thing is this is supposedly going to be 2.0, or Sean said this is like No Man's Sky 2.0, but I think it actually will be. I think it will be a version 2.0. And I think the reason why is because we're going to have a totally different gameplay loop. Hopefully, the game will not be totally based on making money anymore. It will be more... Well, let me read the last feature that I have, and then I'll go into that. So the cooking and recipes thing also will involve a food delivery system. So Sean said that there will be some system where you can deliver food. I don't think it's delivering to other players. I think it might be delivering to NPCs. At least I hope so, because the third pillar, and I used to avoid calling it a pillar, but Sean calls it pillar now. So either he got that from other players, or it was always going to be called pillar. But anyway, or maybe that's the interview's word. But, sorry, getting really off topic. Yes, so there's going to be a system where you can deliver food, and I think it's going to be delivering to NPCs. And he likened it to, like, different food delivery systems. I forget what they're called, but where, you know, people deliver food to each other. But I guess it'll be that you'll get an order as like a quest, and then you'll have to cook something, and then you'll have to deliver the food. Something like that. But all these different systems, all these being able to build logic gates, being able to cook, and there were lots of other... These haven't been confirmed, but we saw a lot of other devices that look like drilling or centrifuges, and basically there's going to be all these different ways of creating things, and I guess there'll be different purposes to use them for besides just selling them at a shop. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but it sounds like they have attempted to create a whole new gameplay loop for No Man's Sky, and it's not going to just be either wandering aimlessly or just making money. It's going to be, you know, doing things that give you more of a sci-fi fantasy, that maybe you're building an empire, you're building something worthwhile that other people will want to see, besides just a base that has no purpose, but building, like, you know, a Rubes Goldberg machine that does some amazing thing, you know? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here because we don't really know how all of it's going to work, but from the sound of these interviews, and I would recommend, if you're going to read one of them, read the Ars Technica one. Don't read the Kotaku one, because I said in one of the previous videos, some people in the press are notorious for not knowing anything about No Man's Sky and then talking about it as if they do, and it sounds really stupid, but the Kotaku article right now that just came out about this is like that. The guy who wrote that article either has not played the game, or he's trying to explain in his article for people who've never played No Man's Sky, because he's like describing the space anomaly, saying, oh, it looks like the Death Star, and all this stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, it's it's the space anomaly model. We've had that since day one of the game. You don't need to describe what the space anomaly looks like. But anyway, read the Ars Technica article, because it's really good. It really goes into length, and the guy seems pretty knowledgeable about No Man's Sky, and he gives a lot of really good information that Sean said. But anyway, that's about all the different features that I was able to find. There's probably more articles out there that say more, and there's probably a lot of features that we still don't know about. but we will find out about it soon enough. So, really looking forward to Wednesday of next week. And I should be doing one more video before then. Not giving breaking news, but giving some important information that people will need, a PSA, basically. But anyway, worry about that later. But for now, I think that's about it for the new information. Please post in the comments and tell me other things if you read in articles that I didn't mention. But basically, we're going to be able to herd animals, create all kinds of new things that hopefully do really interesting things and not just make us money. And I assume there's going to be new things to buy because we're going to need to buy things for all these new systems. So there might be more of a point to having money because we'll have things to buy again. But anyway, really looking forward to No Man's Sky Beyond. And it is No Man's Sky version 2.0. Sean has confirmed that, or at least I believe so. He said it's like version 2.0, or it is, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it is going to be 2.0. But anyway, that is about it. Please let me know any more features that you hear about, and I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day, and remember, everything is going to be okay.